Hello, artists. So if you are watching this, chances are you have heard of my class, and we were creating this game board for this mysterious game called Petteia. It is a Greek game, an ancient Greek game. It is similar to checkers and chess, but it's a little bit older than that. So at this point, you've probably made your board, you've made your pieces, you are now ready to play. So this is to show you how to play the game, how to win the game, and just how to navigate through the different situations you might find. So the thing about this game that's different from checkers or chess is every single piece can move in any direction at any time for one space. So if you have a player character, you can move forward, you can move backward, you can move to either side, you can move diagonally in any direction. But you can only move one character at a time, and they can only move one space at a time. So there is no going partway across the board, there is no long diagonals. There is also no jumping over other characters. So you are not going to be doing any jumping. This is not like checkers, and this is not going way across the board the way chess is played. This game was essentially made as a training for war games. So the people who would play this game tended to be soldiers, and they would play it with the intention of you were learning how to control pieces or people on a battlefield and how to make a good strategy for being able to win. So, for instance, you wouldn't want to send two people alone into enemy territory. They would end up in a lot of trouble. So it's a slow starting game since you have all your players start on either end of the board, and you're moving one at a time, back and forth. One side moves, the other side moves. You can move again, you can make a move. So it might take a while to get to the point where all of the players are starting to mix and actually starting to do battle. But that's where you can have some of your best strategies. Some people like to have different ways that they play. Some people are very aggressive players and will send maybe a couple of pieces across first. Some people like to move one person at a time and just advance their line across the field. And there are benefits and there are problems for both. So depending on what kind of player you would like to be, whether you're going to be an aggressive type player or a more defensive player, you will find out which technique suits you best. So in order to capture a piece, we're going to capture this monster here. There is no claiming a spot. It's not like chess where you have to move one of your players onto the space to capture a character. This is meant to simulate an actual battlefield. So the idea of two pieces facing off against each other, you could technically have one person dueling it out with another person. Even if you have other characters close by, the fact that this person can still keep an eye on everything, they're still relatively able to defend themselves. The only way that you can capture a piece is if you surround them front and back. Now they have to be across from each other. They can't just be on kind of an odd angle. It has to be either front and back. It could be side to side. It could even be diagonal. As long as you have two of your pieces on opposite sides of your enemy, that one is then captured. So in order to make a capture, we'll say that our pieces are like this. In order to capture this piece, I would have to move my player, boom, right next to it, so we have them cornered on either side, and that piece is now captured. So it's a pretty simple, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to how to play that. The trouble comes into keeping an eye on all the different ways that you could get captured. You could have your position like this. I could move here, and this one gets captured. So you have to keep an eye on the surrounding of your character to make sure that they're not about to get cornered in by others. Now, one thing you can do, we'll say this person is their turn to go, and there are two pieces on either side. You are allowed to move in between two pieces. Now, that person is not captured. You cannot get captured on your turn. So as long as you are the one making the move, you are not captured. This person would have to move and then possibly move back to capture or find a different position to capture from. So for instance, if we had this situation, you could move in between and not be captured, but immediately on the next turn, this person could move, and now you're caught in a diagonal. So you would have to just be careful of things like that, but you cannot get captured when it is your turn to move. You can also not capture two people together. So if we had two of our monsters lined up here with a player on this side, you could not move next to them and capture both characters. It does not work that way, because if this were an actual battlefield, then they would each be facing off one-on-one. So it is not a 2 versus 2 gets the win on that situation. All right, that's pretty much the basics of it. Have some fun with it. Pretty much the end game happens when either all the players are captured, which technically if these were all captured and there was one left, there's really no way for this person to win. When you're down to one piece, you can't capture your opposing teammates. So usually when you're down to one, that person concedes defeat. They have lost. If they want to be, if they really want to draw it out and they want to make you chase them all around the board to get them, sure. But if you run out of time in class while you're playing this, pretty much if you have fewer pieces, you have lost. You can also win if you have, we'll say these are captured. If you have managed to corner the other player to the point where it's their turn and they are not able to move at all, they just have nowhere to go, then that is pretty much the end for them. There's nothing they can do. If you can't make a move on your turn, then your game is done. So this person would be finished. Pretty much if you prevent them from going anywhere, then that's the end. So some players like to create, they think that it would be safest to create like a box of some sort. I can tell you right from the get-go that is not a safe bet, because at the very least, you can get one character in a diagonal. So be careful. Don't trap yourself in a corner. I will give you this piece of advice. It's definitely good to make sure that you don't leave anybody by themselves. Don't let your players be on their own out in the field. Try to keep at least partners together, because you can't capture people if there's only one of you. And don't let yourself get backed into a corner. Have fun. Play the game. I enjoy this game a lot. I play this whenever I get the chance to with whoever will play with me. So if you get really good, you might have the chance of challenging me. So enjoy. If you have other questions, let me know. If you're in my class, if you're not in my class and you're watching this some other point in time, or you're up on YouTube and you found this, if you have questions, let me know. Throw them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer you.